But do you know, Gloria, it's remarkable. It's the most remarkable place, Windsor, at the moment, because it is packed. It's the busy. I mean, this area isn't, because everyone's absolutely gathered absolutely round the castle and along the long walk, which is very nearly 3 miles long. It is packed, possibly the busiest it has ever been, according to Thames Valley Police, and yet it is so quiet, it is so peaceful, it is so serene, and one can only imagine when Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, her coffin arrives here, it will become even more quiet and more serene. A remarkable moment from a town that was loved by the Queen and where the people of Windsor loved her and were used to seeing her out and about on a daily basis, really, just driving about Windsor Great Park or whatever it may be. She was a common sight to the people here, and it's a chance for them to pay their last respects. And then, of course, we have these services, 2 services here, one of which we will see, that's at 4 o'clock, as you mentioned, Gloria, but another which we won't see at 7:30, which is a purely private affair. Alice Porter is here with me with all the details, and there is, I mean, not surprisingly, it's still a huge amount of ceremonial, if you like, within that service that we will witness.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a smaller service that we've seen from what we've seen today at Westminster Abbey. It's going to have 800 people and it will be televised, but it will be a real sort of change in tone. I think one of the aspects that to me has really struck out as just this sort of really makes you realise how monumental this moment is the Lord Chamberlain, who's the highest official within the royal household for the Queen. He will break his wand of service and place it on the coffin, and it's this sort of white stuff, and it will show that his sort of end of service to the Queen, it will come to an end. And I think so many aspects of the proceedings today, but I mean in this whole last 10 days, have been full of these extraordinary moments that I don't think you and I could have ever expected really to witness.
It is remarkable. You do get that sense, don't you? And you certainly get it here in Windsor, that this is a moment of history. And we need to soak it in, really. And a lot of people have said, enjoy the day. I've heard people, when I was walking to this point today, a lot of the police officers and things saying to people, just enjoy the moment, enjoy the day. Enjoy seems almost the wrong word, but it's absorbing the historic nature of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's been so extraordinary over the last 10 days is that, on the one hand, it's been so sad and people have been mourning, but on the other hand, it has brought out so much goodwill, and I think we've seen that at Westminster Hall. The stories that people have told as they've queued to see the coffin, people have told it with such joy. But I think what is striking is what you were saying earlier there about the stillness and the calm here. And actually I was here in Windsor on Sunday, and it was, I would say, actually quite jubilant of people coming with flowers, people wanting to kind of pay homage. They'd come on a Sunday, it was a day out with family. But I remember thinking, gosh, there's going to be a change in emotions, going to be a change in tone, because it's important to stress, whilst we've seen the coffin of the late Queen in Edinburgh because of her dying in Scotland, and then it moved down to London, this is her final journey. And so when it makes its way at the beginning of the long walk, it's very much her final journey.
And we will see, won't we, the coffin at the very end of the service, which begins at 4 o'clock. We will see, as all of her titles are read out, we will see the coffin descend into the crypt. Now that's a very special moment, as it was with Prince Philip just over a year ago. That's a moment that we can show on television, but can never be repeated. It can't be replayed. You will never see it again. And there's something about that, because that is the last time we, as her subjects, will ever see Her Majesty the Queen.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many sort of interesting details of the service. The imperial crown will be removed, the sceptre, all these things. It's the removal of those sort of the royal sort of symbols as she's lowered into the ground. And what a ground. I mean, an extraordinary sort of crypt where she'll be even more sort of a part of history, and the people that should be alongside. I mean, of course, her immediate family. I mean, finally reunited with the Duke of Edinburgh, whose funeral was 17 months ago, in this very spot here at the same chapel, in such different circumstances, of course, because of COVID. And of course, we remember those sort of quite tragic images, really, of the late Queen there, sort of on her own. And it's obviously wonderful that we are able to give more of a send-off where people could all come together and line the streets. I mean, the footage we're seeing of the Long Walk, and we've seen at Westminster Abbey today, I mean, people are packed out. And of course, that wasn't possible for the Duke of Edinburgh, and that is, I think, something that we can celebrate today, is that people can come, and they have paid their respects.
Yeah,